Hey guys, what's up? Dead Space 4 here. Today I'm back with another video. Today's video, I figured I would do a little bit of a tutorial video. I've kind of been no-lifing this game a bit lately. I took a little bit of a break and I played some Lily Play with my friends today actually, or tonight. It's like 2 in the morning. But anyway, the point is I figured today I would give you guys some good gameplay, and I tried to look for some of the better gameplays that I had. I have good gameplays, but I usually try to find the ones in which I'm like top of leaderboard, which aren't really that hard to find because I am top of leaderboard a lot. But I'm usually, it's not that I'm like the greatest player, I'm just usually top of leaderboard. I don't really know why. I just am. Like, I'm not trying to brag, I just am purely top of leaderboard a lot. It just happens a lot, I don't know why. It's really weird too, because like, I'm just an average Call of Duty player, or at least that's what I think of myself as. Not a bad player, but not a good player. I'm just average. I have my good games, I have my bad games. Of course, every average player usually has a horrible KD because they go into domination all the times. They get, all the time, and get fucking mated. So yeah, my KD is usually shit. I think it's like almost 1.0, which is pretty bad. But that doesn't mean I'm actually that bad. It's just when I play domination, I only care about capping the points and stuff, not getting the kills. And the reason is because you get a lot more points for capping than killing, and if you focus on kills even a little bit, then you're gonna not care about capping the points. You're not gonna get as much points. So, word to the wise, don't try to go for kills. Just go for the points. You get more points that way. But anyway, so to start off, I figured the first thing I think you should do is use the primed ribbon, or I can't remember what they call it. The primed easy access thing. I don't know what they call it. It's like the thing that the basic training, prime basic training. I think you should use that. The reason is because you get a lot less flinch, and I've noticed that a lot of the reason people lose gunfights is because of the flinch. The flinch in this game is just ridiculous. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't know why it is this much. I don't know why there's a perk for it, or a ribbon, if you will, but it's just the way that they did it. So, yeah, but yeah, I will say primed is good. It also gives you an extra attachment. You don't need the extra attachment, especially if you're using like what I'm using right now, which is the bar. This was before it was nerfed. It's not like it's not a good gun. It's a good gun. It's not OP. I think people think it's OP, and it's really not, because here's the thing that I'm going to tell you before I go on with some more details. No gun is OP if it's in the wrong hands, and I think that that's kind of how people take it too far. The fire rounds in the beta for the shotguns, the expeditionary shotguns, those were OP, and the reason is because you could just be the worst player and still get a kill, because there was like so much range on that thing, unlimited range. Like, the crosshairs were off the fucking map, and you could hit someone from like 100 meters away, barely skim their skin, and they would just die. It was ridiculous. But like, this you still have to aim down sights. The crosshairs are small, and I will say the only thing that I find a little bit OP with is that it doesn't take as many bullets as you would think. But some games it does take more bullets, and I feel like some games it just feels like you're shooting marshmallows. Some games it doesn't. Bar is good. STG is good if you're using what's it called? If you're using SMGs, I'd say the Type 100 or the PBSH. LMGs, I don't know how to use them, but the Brin I've heard is pretty good, and for snipers, M1903, top notch, dude. I swear to God, that fucking thing is a beast. And let's see, shotguns, combat shotgun or toggle action, because the other two just only have 2 bullets and fucking impossible to get a kill with. I swear to God, like one of them, I think it's like the last one you unlock for the expeditionary. If you like proceed to the expeditionary, and that shotgun is horrible, dude. You could literally get like both shots on the person, and if you're not right next to them, then you won't even get a kill with both shots. Like, it's ridiculous. And you only get 2 per round, and the reload's fucking long as shit. So yeah, don't use that. Toggle action and probably combat shotgun is the best one. And yeah, but on to another tip. I think the second tip that I want to mention is you need to be ready around corners. I don't mean you have to aim down sights around every corner, but a lot of things I've noticed people don't do is they just run around corners like a headless fucking chicken. And doing that gets you killed a lot more often. Not. I can understand if you're having a bad day, you're probably not going to care as much. Or if you just got on, you need to warm up. So obviously, immediately what you're going to think is, I just want to get some kills, right? So it's not going to come to your mind all the things at once unless you've been playing Call of Duty for a while. And I have, and even it doesn't even come from me. But I've also only been playing since 2011 because Modern Warfare 3 was my first Call of Duty. But yeah. So for me, it's not really a thing I'm used to. But if I get home and I'm like having a good day, and I pop open the disc tray. Actually, they don't have those anymore for PS4, but whatever. And I put Call of Duty in, and I play some of it. Sometimes I am ready, but it's if I'm having a bad day, I'm just like, fuck it, I want to kill someone. I want to kill people in Call of Duty, right? But I don't know how the fuck I got that kill. But yeah, so don't aim around corners because that's a little bit dicky to do. I don't know if I'd say it's newbie, but it's dicky. And also, don't do anything like, don't just run around corners. If you run around corners, what's going to happen is you're most likely going to die. And if you, aim around corners, first of all, you're going to be way too focused, so you could fuck up. And if you're not way too focused, then everyone's going to think you're a dick, because you're pre-aiming, which is kind of a dicky thing to do. Pre-firing is too, unless you're on, like, a high streak, it's still dicky, but it's more forgivable if you're on a high streak. And for the third tip I would use, I think I would say that you need to aim down. I noticed that people that are newer at Call of Duty, or filthy casual as people like to call them, which I'm a bit of a casual, I'm not gonna lie. But the more casual people, when they shoot at someone, they just, they shoot, and then when your gun goes up, when you get flinch and stuff, it goes up. The recoil, it goes up, they just let it happen. But one thing you need to learn is when you're firing at these people, there's recoil and all this shit. So a very good thing to do, and something I think you should definitely keep in mind, is when you're in these gunfights, or when you think you're about to be in one, or when you're in one, always move your thumbstick a little bit farther down. There are certain guns that are better than others for this, for example, the STG is much more of a up and down type of recoil, whereas the Type 100 or the WAF, or I like to call it the waffle, are much more bouncing around. The recoil is all over the place. So, assault rifles are always the less recoil things, but I've noticed anyway. They usually have less recoil but shoot way slower. However, I will say the STG, I think the fire rate should be down a little bit. It is pretty fast. That's really the only problem. It's not overpowered. It's just it fires a bit fast, in my opinion. It's funny that no one used the M1 Garand, because I think that's OP too. I can't use semi-auto rifles. Those are horrible to me. Look at that. Look how fast it is for a assault rifle. That's too much. They need to fix that a little bit, in my opinion. But other than that, I think I'd have to say for the next thing, which this would be the fourth thing. For the fourth thing, the fourth tip, I'd have to say that when you get into a gunfight, a lot of people will when they run out of ammo, they'll try to reload, but one of the best things you can do when you run out of ammo is to switch your gun to the secondary. You don't always remember it if you're really indulged into the fight or you're not paying much attention, but if you are, you can switch. And another good thing is there's certain things you can do for each class. The only class that really has a upper hand in this is if you're using the class, not the class I'm using, if you're using the rifleman thing, I can't remember what it's called, the rifleman protection class setup thing, whatever the fuck they call it, division, then you can bayonet them. But if you're not using it, then you should probably just switch, because switching is definitely a good thing. Now the next tip I'm going to give you guys is more of a search and destroy only tip, and that tip is right when you spawn, a lot of people like to throw nades immediately, but I feel like the best time to throw a nade is when you get close to the bomb, and the reason is because a lot of people like to camp around the bomb and wait for someone to come near the bomb, because then it's an easy kill. Of course, they're not going to be paying attention, they're going to try to plant the bomb. So if you're defending, I would say throw the bomb right when you get close to the bomb, because they're probably close to it too. And if you're attacking, then I would say you should probably throw the bomb not right off the bat, but if you know there's a good spot in which people usually run, or there's a mainstream area, throw it there. If not, I would say try to throw it around the area not around the bomb, but around the areas on the outskirts of the bomb, because they might be hiding there waiting for you to plant. Ninja defuse and all that. I don't know. And let's see, for the next tip, I'm trying to think of another thing that might help you guys out, because I know not everybody's the greatest. Go for easy streaks. I've learned this the hard way a lot. You die a lot in Call of Duty. That's just a thing. Normal average players, like me and probably you, and if you're not average, that's cool too, But normal players die a lot in Call of Duty matches. So I would say that you should probably go for the lower streaks. If you're playing domination, go for the lowest streaks possible. And if you're playing team deathmatch, you can go for a little bit higher streaks. But domination, it actually takes you 10, I'm not joking, 10 kills to get a UAV. If you don't know what a UAV is, it's basically a plane that flies around the map. It's really hard to shoot down, and it shows the enemy's positions, just for anyone that's new to the game itself. Fighter Pilot is probably the highest streak that I usually run. I'm actually using Requisitions, I think, now, the Requisitions ribbon, and the reason is because I feel like that ribbon is very good for things such as, like, if you are using, for example, like I mentioned, Jesus Christ, my plane just crashed. If you're playing domination, Requisitions would be a good ribbon to run sometimes. If you're really good at capping points and you do want to go for kills a little bit. And the reason is because basically when you die, your score streak doesn't reset, but the score streak is like doubled or tripled. I think it's more like tripled or quadrupled. So it's way harder to get them, and you can only get them once, which is two bad things. However, it's basically a death streak. You can die as many times and still get it as long as you're still doing good, but still dying often, if you get what I'm saying. So that would definitely be a good thing. Another thing is when you're in a fight with like another enemy and you know that they currently have the upper hand, you're about to die. You haven't hit them that many times, if at all. Then what you should definitely do is what I just did right here. You saw what I did? I shot him a little bit and then I flanked around him. Never stay in a gunfight unless you're like not thinking. But if you're thinking about it, never stay in a gunfight that you think you can't win. If the enemy has the upper hand and you stay there, you're going to die. But if you leave and you try to flank or you just try to regen health, then there's a better chance because they're going to think that you just ran away. Whereas in reality, you could be trying to flank them, or you could just be trying to stay around the area in which they were, and just so that way you regen health. They come around the corner and you just pop their head off like there's no fucking tomorrow. You know what I mean? The next thing is what I'm doing right here as well, which is just kind of staying here. I know a lot of people call this camping. It's not camping. It's more like positioning yourself in a good spot, in a good sight line. And this is going to be for assault rifles. I'm going to give one tip for everything now. So for the assault rifles, you need good sight lines. This doesn't mean camping for like an entire match, going prone or anything like that. All you need to do is stay in one area for a few seconds and see if there's any enemies around. If there isn't, then you move on to the next area you think that they might be in, or whatever looks populated. And if you have the UAV, then obviously that. However, if you see people, of course, shoot them. And for the SMG one, I think I'd have to say, what you need to do is like go to shorter sight lines and don't stay there, but like strafe back and forth, because I know strafing it makes you harder to kill, especially with a SMG, because they have a lot of recoil, so they're probably gonna have the much more of a lower hand than you will. So go to areas that are usually populated but very small and contained, and strafe back and forth when you think there's an enemy around. For the LMGs, I'd probably have to say stay with the long sight lines and look for higher ground, because if you go for higher ground or lower ground or any ground that's not the same as the enemies, it's going to be harder to detect you. And of course LMGs are a bit harder to manage because they take a lot more skill than some of the other guns, and have a lot of bullets, they have a lot of recoil, and a bit hard to manage in my personal opinion. For snipers, I would say one of the best things to do if you really want to get play the game or get a bunch of kills is when you go to a big an area with a lot of sight lines, or when you see people, immediately aim. And I'd say one of the best things to do is shoot right after you aim. And the reason is because for some reason when you aim and then shoot immediately with a sniper, it's like a laser. It goes immediately to where you're aiming at, which is pretty ridiculous if you ask me. And then for the final one, expeditionary, I would say one of the best things to do, as I was saying before I got interrupted, one of the best things to do would be to, honestly, I feel like, unless you're playing domination, you shouldn't really load your shots in. And I feel like you should also stay near if you're on domination, which is kind of what would be a good idea for shotguns because people want to capture the points, stay near the points and just kind of circle around the area. And I've noticed that when doing that, at least in the beta, I don't use shotguns in the full game, but I did in the beta, just check them out. And I noticed that a lot of people don't really notice you when they want to capture a point. And the reason is because there's a lot of casuals that play domination because they want to get higher and they don't really care about their kill-death ratio. Such as me, they just want to have fun, you know? And because of that, they're not going to be paying attention. So one of the best things to do would be to just run around the area, not like run in a circle right where it is. I mean, just stay close to a certain objective that maybe they've been trying to push for a while, and always stay in areas like, for example, Point du Hoc is a very good map for shotguns because it's close quarters. For pistols, I would say the only thing you should really do is make sure you aim for the head, because a headshot is like a one-hit kill, I think, with any pistol, which is really cool. And if you're dual-wielding, it's almost impossible to actually die, because the dual-wielding any bunch of pistols is just ridiculous. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share all those good things, help my channel grow. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial video. Without further ado, I'll see you guys next time.